and Joe Burrow are probably the only two names who I can think of who have really found any level of success in this league in the last few years where they didn't have an elite offensive line right out the gate, right? And I think that's the problem with a lot of these quarterbacks who are getting drafted early, like Bryce Young, right? They're getting drafted early and they don't have great offensive lines because the team is so bad. That's why they have a top pick and they use it for a quarterback who's being put into a terrible situation. Looking at the top 100 players of 2024 list put up by the NFL, which was, again, voted by players. Let's look at the quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson is the first one. He was drafted. He sat behind Joe Flacco for a little bit and had a great offensive line. You keep on going. CJ Stroud, he is one of the few outliers. The offensive line has improved over time, but it was pretty shaky at first. Then you get to Brock Purdy, right? Last pick of the draft when he was drafted, elite offensive line with best offensive lineman alive at this current time, and Trent Williams.
He sat behind Jimmy Garoppolo.
Exactly. And then
who is a Super Bowl around Tom Brady. He might not have the arm, but he's got the mind of how to be successul.
Yeah. Right. You look at all of these top quarterbacks, and the common denominator, aside from maybe one or two outliers, is that you have an elite offensive line, an elite supporting cast of weapons, or a top tier offensive head coach, or all of those things, right? So when you have quarterbacks, no matter how talented they are, if they're drafted to a terrible team with a terrible situation and without a good offensive line or running game, of course they're doomed for failure, right? You're setting them up for failure with them getting drafted that early.